In today's episode, I'm starting it off with a bit of exploration because I wanted to collect some animals that I didn't have before. I've managed to find some new biomes as well, such as a desert and mesa and even a jungle. I explored this chest, but the loot wasn't that good, but I took the gold anyways. I went to explore a nearby lush cave biome because I wanted to find some axolotls and put them in the pond that I made. If you didn't know, an azalea tree means that a lush cave is nearby, so I collected some axolotls, one of each color, and went on my way. The next part of my mission took quite a while, but I finally found some sniffer eggs. I also explored the chests and did a lot of brushing with the archaeology brush. I got a few sherds and some other junk as well. I also got some nautilus armor. It took quite a while and I had to fight off a lot of drowned, but I eventually got 2 sniffer eggs. There you could see that I've already found one so far, and eventually I'll find another one. There were so many drowned, it was quite annoying, but I put on my chest plate and thankfully I had netherite armor, so I was quite safe. There you go, I finally got 2 sniffer eggs, which means that we can breed them and make a sniffer farm. In a nearby jungle biome I even found a panda, so I made a hole and lured it with some bamboo, and I saved the coordinates so I can maybe make an enclosure for it or bring it back to my base. I also tamed a nearby parrot and put that inside the hole as well for safekeeping, because I didn't want any mobs to get them. Panda breeding is quite fun, but it also takes a while because there's lots of different types of pandas. Near my base, I went back to this pillager outpost and tried to get an ally to follow me. I gave it a golden carrot so that it would be tamed, sort of, and thankfully it followed me. Its allies are quite easy to duplicate because you could use amethyst shards to duplicate them and a note block, so you only need one ally. Back at the base, I got the achievement and managed to put it in a boat after a bit of trial and error. It finally sat in the boat and I quickly slept. Now I wanted to do some building. Oh, and I also harvested a bee nest rather, and got the achievement for bee location. It was in that tree, so that was kind of cool. I'm nearby that new base that I made, and I flattened out this big hill, because at first I wanted to make a city on it with a castle. So now you could see the layout of what I wanted to work with. But the walls were a bit too small for a city, so I decided to build a castle instead. The castle is primarily out of stone bricks and pale oak logs. I would have used spruce logs, but I've been using that a lot lately, so I wanted to change things up a bit. I made some square towers at regular segments along the walls, and I made a viewing platform so that I could see it. I also made some path blocks in each cardinal direction, just because I wanted this castle to be a bit symmetrical. Now you can see the progress I have made, and the walls are coming along quite nicely, and the towers help it to look extra fortified. It will look a lot better once I add in the logs and the details. I was originally going to have a central section, but then I changed my mind and decided that a castle would be much better. I used some pale oak logs and used my bone meal farm to chop down tons of pale oak trees. It has this really nice grey look that matches the grey stone bricks, and it's not quite the same as spruce. So this is the pattern that I am working with, and I got to work and made more logs for structural support. Although of course it's just for looks because it doesn't actually need them. I also surrounded them around the towers as well, and I did that on all three sides of the castle. Eventually I'll come back and do the back of the build. I wanted to make a few of the towers have rooms instead of turrets, so to change things up a bit, I used some dark oak logs and stripped them, and I also used some bone blocks because that has a really nice texture. And there you go. I also added some windows using dark oak wood, and it's looking quite good. I'm very happy with how it's turning out. All four towers are now in place, and I made some stairs to put the turrets on top of, and this time I used some tough blocks. So it came out really well in the end. I used a very simple design, but here is the grand reveal. And for the roofs of the towers, I also used some granite and deep slate. I went with a very simple design. Here is a quick time-lapse of me building the central keep. It took a lot of mining, and I didn't even have a stone generator yet. I just simply went to the mines and used my Silk Touch pickaxe. I went into third person for this time-lapse, and I also trapped two bunny rabbits in a boat. I might make an enclosure for them later on, but for now they get to live in the castle. This keep will be quite tall. I wanted it to stand above the towers, so it took a lot of stone bricks. It's looking quite flat and grey for now, but I will add arches and details later on, so don't worry, it will hopefully look a bit better. Now we've got the main square stone keep, and I added some more pale oak logs to make some depth. I went around on all three sides of the keep, and I carried on with this process. I made the pillars 5 blocks wide, and in between I added more logs to get a kind of grid-like pattern, but I wouldn't have them be rectangular later on because I wanted to use stairs and trapdoors to make arches. I had to use some dirt blocks for scaffolding because I didn't have any proper scaffolding yet. I poked some windows inside and made them 3 blocks tall. This is what it's looking like so far, and it's really coming together. It's starting to look like a proper medieval castle. However, I did want a gatehouse because the entrance to the castle was looking a bit simple and boring. So I used more pale oak and more stone bricks. For the roof, I copied the towers, and I used deep slate bricks and polished granite. It does go quite well together and gives it a bit more color. And there you go, it's looking really good. I'm very happy with how it's coming along. But I wanted some more towers on the keep because then it would have a more fortified aesthetic. The towers were kind of awkward to make because I had to try a few different ways to make them, but I finally settled on a design and built 4 towers on all 4 corners. They do help to make the builds a lot taller, which I wanted as well. It is looking rather majestic, if I do say so myself. I also added more stone bricks for the inside of the towers, and next I wanted to make a roof on the keep, so I used some dark oak stairs to make a simple triangular roof. They both would meet at the middle, and thankfully they were built on odd numbers, so it just made it a lot easier to build. I filled in the roof with more dark oak wood because I didn't want to go overboard with the granite. I was worried that it would be a bit too bright. I experimented with some designs for the wall of the roof, but I ended up going for just some simple bone blocks. It has quite a nice Tudor vibe and goes really well with the stripped dark oak wood. I completed this along the front and the back of the roof, and now you can see what it looks like so far. Having a simple triangle roof doesn't distract too much from the rest of the keep, but it really completes the build. And I also added some turrets to the towers and the walls using some granite because I was worried that they would be a bit too invisible otherwise. Back on the ground, I made a very simple portcullis with some dark oak fences. I wanted to decorate the frame of the castle with some arches, so I used more dark oak. Normally I would use spruce, but that would blend in a little too much with this grey palette, so dark oak helps it to stand out quite a bit. I also put some dark oak fences for the windows, and I might add some lanterns or an additional light source to illuminate the windows a bit more. I repeated this pattern, and I put some more fences in the windows of the towers. On the ground, I wanted to take a break from building the keep, so I made a nice garden using some oak leaves, and I extended the pathway all around the keep. I wanted to make a nice front entrance, so I used some dark oak stairs and trapdoors to make an archway, and I used some spruce shelves for the door. They make a really nice vertical slab type of block. I put a rail in front of the door to prevent mobs from walking inside it, and also to prevent mobs from breaking down the door, because zombies can otherwise break down a wooden door. But here's the version of the keep with all of the arches complete, and it's looking really good. I also added a gatehouse in front by the portcullis, as if it would be the place where the portcullis would get pulled up and down. I also added some cherry trees and some rose bushes for decoration, and I will fill in these spots with other flowers later on. Here you can see where the castle is compared to our starter base. It's quite close by and right next to the other base we made. I went with a very symmetrical design, but it turned out really good, and I'm quite happy with it. I put a simple torch for now, and the inside is looking a bit ugly and empty, so I wanted to get started on that next. Here are the two bunny rabbits that I captured in a boat, and I might make an enclosure for them later on. I went with a wooden floor for now, but it was all looking a bit too overly the same color, so I might change that up in the future. I wanted to take a break from building, so I made a quick little pen for the axolotls to go inside of. And one of them escaped, so I made sure that the others would be inside the pen. I put slabs and fences to stop them from escaping, because I might use this area to breed axolotls to try and get a blue one, but it's very rare, so that would take a super long time. But they are super cute, and I hope they enjoy their new home in the pond. I also got the two sniffer eggs, and I decided to put them in the windmill because they can hatch on grass, though it takes twice as long as on moss. So I decided to wait for them and went AFK while they hatched. It was quite cool to see the cracking animation. If you didn't know, sniffers can sniff up a new type of plant that was introduced along with the sniffers and the archaeology update. It's a really cool pitcher plant and just gives a new type of plant to grow in a field. So I'm looking forward to that. I continued to extend the floor of the castle this time because I wanted to get some progress done on the interior. I used some more stripped spruce logs this time because I wanted it to have a very rustic feeling. I made a simple pattern of 3 wide, and I completed this all around the interior of the keep because I wanted to have some wooden arches. I made some stairs going up to the 2nd floor, and I duplicated that on either side so that it was symmetrical. Here you can see we have all of the pillars, and I even put a 2nd floor as well. However, I decided at first that I wanted the throne room, because this will be the throne room, to be slightly smaller. So I added a 2nd row of arches, and I used stairs, trapdoors, and shelves to add really nice details. It's looking quite epic and very cozy with all of the wood. I wanted some light sources that fit the vibe of a castle, so I made some chandeliers with oak fences and lanterns. All of the arches are in place now, and I would eventually get rid of the torches. I used some cauldrons and leaf and oak leaves to make bushes to add some greenery and a different type of color in the room. I also used some red carpets to lead up to the throne. Next, I wanted some walls, so I used some polished andesite from villagers to make a 2nd interior wall, and I might use this other room back here for storage or something like that. I wanted to hide the windows from the outside, and I think it came out pretty good. I wanted to take a break from the interior, so I decided to do some terraforming to complete the castle. I dug out a moat and extended the pathway, and to make it easier to place all of the water sources, I made another temporary layer of dirt, and then when you break that layer of dirt, it makes infinite water sources below it. I had some empty space that I had terraformed, so I decided to make a very simple hedge maze using, of course, more oak leaves. It's more for decoration rather than anything, and I had to extend the path as well all around the castle. But I wanted some more plants and flowers, so I bone mealed the grass and flowers, and I planted some spruce trees. Well, now it's time for the grand reveal, and I'm really happy with how it came out. It was quite a fun build, and I kind of made it on a bit of a whim, but it turned out really good in the end, and there's lots of space on the inside and even in the roof. So who knows what I will do with it, but I'll probably decorate it with different rooms like a ballroom and a library and living quarters, as if a real king and queen lived in there. The moat looks really good, and I even made a drawbridge. I made more paths and a temporary staircase. Excuse the lag, I was on 32 chunks, so I had to lower the chunks. But this still isn't quite finished. But the keep is looking really good. I also need to make more arches and windows on the other two, on the right and the left of the castle. But here you could see a temporary throne, and yeah, it's looking very cozy on the inside. But that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the episode, and I would appreciate a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed it, but no obligation to. Do let me know if you have any feedback on how I can improve, and I hope you have a good day wherever you are. Take care and bye-bye.